In Merch by Amazon, those first 100 sales are arguably the most important in determining if you are going to be successful in this business or not. But unfortunately, those first 100 sales are sometimes the hardest to get. If you have been in the print-on-demand world for any amount of time, you know the potential of how valuable this Merch by Amazon account is, but it starts to feel so hard and so unachievable when you're stuck in those lower tiers, not making as many sales as you want to be. In my own experience, I found that once I made those first 100 sales, everything started to get easier about Merch by Amazon. So if that is you and you are stuck in tier 10, tier 25, or tier 100 and are dying to make those first 100 sales, here are 8 tips that I used and I want you to use to get out of those lower tiers as fast as possible so you can start making real money with this business. I'm Hannah, passionate about helping you create passive income, build wealth, and scale your print-on-demand business. If that is anything that you're interested in, I would love it if you would subscribe down below and give this video a like. It really helps out my channel. My first tip might be a bit of a controversial one, but not in the way that you've probably heard it presented to you before, and that is to buy your own shirts. And no, I do not mean to buy all 100 of these shirts. But when you're in tier 10, tier 25, or tier 100, you do not have access to the amazing Amazon advertising capabilities that so many of those higher tiers do. So you're looking for literally any way to get your products to rank and get them to stand out on those first pages of Amazon search. If you didn't already know this, before one of your shirts or your products has ever sold, it's pretty much banished to the later pages of Amazon when someone searches that niche. But once your product has made at least one sale, it now is ranked with a bestseller number. If you're in a low competition niche, just making one sale could potentially be the difference between your shirt being on page 5 of Amazon and it being maybe the second result on Amazon. In those early days, there were a few times when I knew I had an amazing design in a really, really competitive, hot niche right now, and I didn't want to waste time waiting for someone to make that first organic sale, so I became my first sale. I never ordered more than one shirt, and it was always in a really great niche that I had already validated and knew would get sales. Even when I wasn't making a ton of money yet, I could validate spending that $13.07 to buy one of my products because I knew I only had to sell 3 shirts priced at $19.99 to be able to pay all that money back. And in the end, I had 4 sales towards my 100. It's actually pretty cool because some of those first shirts that I made my first purchase on are ones that still continue to get sales every month for me, even a couple of years down the road. I would never recommend just buying shirts for buying's sake, because this always was a strategy to be able to rank my shirts to get them in front of more eyeballs to eventually make those organic sales. If anyone's telling you to just go ahead and buy 100 of your own products, do not listen to them, and who wants to pay for that anyways? Also, if you're keeping track of your business expenses, which you probably should be if you're not, this can be written off as a product sample purchase price. So that's just an extra little benefit. I don't think anyone would argue with me on this, but tier 10 and tier 25 are arguably the most brutal tiers of any of them on Merch by Amazon. So you want to do anything in your power to get out of tier 10 as fast as possible. So my next tip is to utilize the power of social media to get out of tier 10 as fast as possible. It's so hard to get anywhere on your own in tier 10 or tier 25 because your daily uploads and just your uploads in general are so limited. In one of my most recent videos, I shared my step-by-step guide for how I actually got my first 10 sales in just a week, utilizing the power of Instagram to make sales. So if you are stuck in tier 10 or tier 25, watch this video next, and I'll break down how exactly I did that and how you can get out of tier 10 in hopefully just a week too. My next tip when you're first trying to make those 100 sales is to consistently work on your Merch by Amazon account every single day. This not only builds up consistency, but we've seen time and time again that Amazon is favoring accounts that are more active. So if you are just uploading 2 shirts on Tuesday and then waiting until Saturday to do some more uploads, not only are you missing out on days that you could have been uploading products and making sales, Amazon is seeing your account is not being active. Amazon has never come outright and said this, but we see time and time again that people make more sales when they are posting daily as opposed opposed to taking long breaks in between their posting schedule. This also is going to help keep you on top of all of your research and finding those new niches to target every single day, as opposed to trying to find 10 niches on Saturday and then posting them later. The next thing you need to be doing if you're trying to make your first 100 sales fast is only post to standard shirts and disregard all of the other products. Across the board, standard shirts far outsell any other product on Amazon. So you want to capitalize on all that traffic that is people looking for shirts to purchase and only post designs to your standard shirts. In addition, in tier 10, tier 25, tier 100, I wouldn't be trying to just make multiple different variations of one shirt and posting it to multiple different products in standard shirts. Sometimes you'll see this, someone creates one design and then they make it in blue, they make it in red, they make it in white. But when you're in those lower tiers, I want every single one of your designs that you upload to be 100% unique from all of your others. This is just an additional way to stand out and have as many opportunities as you can to get sales. My next tip is one that I don't really like to recommend when you're in those little bit higher tiers, but when you're in tier 10, tier 25, just trying to make those first 100 sales, you need to be capitalizing on trends. Trends are not a way to build a long-term business because all the efforts you're putting into your business right now are going to go out the window in a couple of years when that trend is not even relevant anymore. But when you're in tier 10 and tier 25, you are just focused on what you are doing right now to get out of those low tiers as quick as possible. In my personal opinion, designing for trends is actually a lot more work than making those evergreen designs that will sell year after year, because you really have to be on top of what is trending, what are people buying at this moment, what are the current events that are inspiring people to make sales. So that means every day you're going to be having to do this research to find what's trending. But this is something that I've seen so many people do, is they do a lot of research, they make shirts for several different trends, and eventually one of those takes off, and they might in tier 10 make 100 sales in just a day because they really grabbed onto something that is super hot right now before anyone else did. This is somewhat of a mix between trends and evergreen designs, but in those lower tiers, you also really want to think about capitalizing on holidays. So we have Halloween right around the corner, and Christmas is going to be following that sooner than we even think. So I wouldn't be mad if you're in those lower tiers and you literally had 50 designs that were dedicated to Christmas. So like half of your products dedicated to Christmas, because we know that niche is going to do well in the next few months and you could get a ton of sales right now while the holiday's going on. My next tip to make your first 100 sales really fast is to reach out to local events and businesses in your community and see if you can design something for them. I've heard this work so many times where someone just was not getting any traction in those lower tiers, and they went to either a local event center or a business of a friend that they knew, and they said, hey, I will free of charge create some amazing t-shirts for you guys as long as you just order them through me. This is great for both of you guys because they're getting free design service and you're making those sales to be able to tier up faster. Even in those lower tiers, I don't typically recommend selling your products too low of prices and say you should really start every shirt at $19.99. But if it's someone that you know and you know they're going to be making a bulk order, I wouldn't be mad if you priced your shirts a little lower at something like $14.99 or $15.99 because they're going to be ordering from you. This also could work if in your own family. So say you have a family reunion coming up, just ask if you can make shirts for everybody and then just say you'll send the link to everyone, and if someone wants a shirt for the family reunion, they can go ahead and get one. Or if you're a part of a club or event, just think about asking if you can make shirts for people, and you never know, someone might be super happy because they're getting a great deal and they're not having to do the work to do it either. I also heard of somebody going to their local restaurant and they volunteered to make all the new t-shirts for the staff, and also said that they would make some merch that was going to be available for the restaurant to sell to their customers. Local family businesses, they don't have a lot of extra people to be able to do these really cool advertising and design campaigns for them, so they're honestly really happy sometimes to just get someone to help them out with this stuff, because the business owners tend to wear a lot of hats, and if they wanted shirts made, it might fall on them to be the ones to do that. My next tip to get your first 100 sales really fast is to make sure you are maxing out all of your slots and consistently cycling through your old designs. I know it can be so frustrating to have spent so much time researching a shirt and designing something, and then in a couple months, you see that it's still not even made one sale, but don't let that get you down. If that's the case, I want you to do one of two things. One, you can either look at that shirt and with your new design skills, with the more time that you've had in Amazon merch, see if there's some way that you can improve that design or improve your description that you put with that. Or if it's just something that you know is probably not gonna sell and now you have some better ideas, go ahead and scrap that and upload it with something new and fresh. Don't worry, those designs are not lost forever. When you do get into those higher tiers like 500 and 1000, you're gonna have so many slots that you need to fill, and it's actually really nice to kind of have this backlog of designs that you can upload when you get into those higher tiers. So if something is not selling for you, don't even think twice about replacing it with something else. My next tip is to focus more of your energy researching your niches than you even do designing your shirts. Focus on finding those high search volume, low competition niches that are really going to generate sales for you. If you don't know how to find these money-making niches, make sure you watch this video next where I break down my secret to finding those money-making, low competition niches every single day. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.